this thing used to take a toll on me, to be very honest, and it affected my self-esteem. So I grew up knowing that I wasn't beautiful. There's nothing worthy about me. If I go to the wrong church, if my hair is ugly, if my skin tone is ugly, like, you're ugly. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of my channel. So today's video is a chit chat video. This is impromptu just because I hadn't planned on filming today, but I was going through some of the comments on my my last video that I posted yesterday. So today is on a Wednesday. I posted a video on Tuesday and it was a mom tag, and just in case you haven't watched it, I'll put a link right here, up here on the eye thing over here, so that you guys can go and watch if you haven't. But and so, like I was saying, I was going through the comments, and then I came through a comment from a lady called Infinitely Blessed. And so I'm just going to probably place a screenshot right here, and then I'm going to read it to you so that you know what she was talking about. So she goes along the lines of, you are twins. She's referring to me and my mother because we look alike. And then, I was abused by my parents growing up in an African household. Now that we are blessed with an almost 3-year-old, healthy, strong baby, we will never hit her. They don't learn or listen that way. I'm not a product of my environment, and I'm not raising my child that way. I was raised. Blessings. So I know by now you're wondering, was I abused growing up? Yes and no. I know you're wondering what I'm saying. When I say no, I mean I was raised by amazing parents. They did their level best to bring us up, to provide for us, to instill virtues that they felt would be good for us as we grew older. They inculcated virtues that they felt would be good for their kids. So obviously, I'm not referring to my parents. My parents did not abuse us in any way. So the way I'm going to rather break down this whole thing, I feel like it's better off if I give you guys a story time so that you get a better understanding of where I'm coming from. So I was born on January 10th of January 1994, and by 1999 I was 5 years old. So I think in 1999 is when we had my auntie come to live with us. So my auntie is my mom's sister, and I feel like I'll get in trouble saying this, but I feel like I have the right? Like, I have the right to share this with you guys. It's my experience. This is what I went through, and I want to share it with you people. So if someone feels ish about what I'm trying to talk about, sorry, but this is my experience, and there's no shame, there's nothing wrong with me sharing my experience with you guys. I feel like someone who's related to me may feel some type of way about this, but it's my experience, and if you want to talk about it, I'll talk about it. Right? Okay. So in 1999 we had my mother's sister come to live with us. So obviously, when you have someone new come, and I feel like that, in fact, that was the first time I ever met her. Initially, when she started living with us, she was just, amazing. Well, not really amazing, but just okay. When you meet someone new, you don't really know so much about them. But as time goes by, you start seeing their true colors, and then that's how you get to know more about them, right? So this auntie of mine, then when we were growing up, yes, we felt bad about how she treated us, but we didn't think like there was anything wrong about it. I don't know why, up until we grew up, and then that's when we realized that that wasn't right. So my auntie used to make us feel bad about anything and everything about us. She'd mock us about anything and everything, and I feel like I've mentioned it in some of my videos, and I also did a blog post. I have a blog, but it's not active, but I mentioned it in one of my blog posts in 2017, of how she made us feel, or made me feel, when I was growing up, and she'd talk about my hair or my hair and my siblings' hair and make us feel bad about having 4C hair and making us feel that our hair was ugly because it was, you know, 4C hair is really, how do I put it? It's really coily and kinky, and some people can feel some type of way about it. And for her hair was, I remember very well, it was very long, and it wasn't as, I guess she had either 4A or 4B hair, and her hair was really, really long. In fact, then she was the only person I knew who had very long hair amongst my relatives. So obviously, everyone praised her for her hair. But because her hair wasn't exactly like hers, she'd make us feel bad about our hair. And we didn't really, yes, we knew, we felt bad about how she made us feel. Like, pathetic. She'd make us feel pathetic about having 4C hair. Then we didn't know it was called 4C hair, but she'd make us feel bad about having 4C hair. But we didn't think that it was a bad thing. I don't know why. Or let me speak for myself. I didn't think that what she did to us was wrong. I just felt like, my hair is ugly, my hair is ugly, so learn to live with it. That's the mindset I had then. And then another thing, I think this is also something I've mentioned in one of my previous videos. Growing up and being made fun of my skin tone, because my skin, I don't know, I feel like I've become, when I was younger, I was much darker than how I am now. I don't know why. Of course, I've never bleached, but I've just grown up, and I'll actually post photos of myself when I was much younger. You guys can tell that I was much darker than I am now, and she'd also make me feel so bad about my skin tone. Like, I felt like being dark skin was ugly, and she'd make fun about it, and I'd feel so bad, and it actually affected my self-esteem. But I didn't think that what she did was wrong. I just felt like, if God didn't make you that beautiful, then just learn to live with it. Yeah, that was the mindset I had. And so, of course, she made me feel bad about my hair. So already, I'm in my head, I'm young, I'm like, what, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, and I'm feeling like I have ugly hair. I have an ugly skin tone, so already I'm ugly. Like, I grew up knowing that I was an ugly person. And then another thing she used to make me, or rather us, feel bad about ourselves. I've grown up in a family where we are Christians, but we go to a Protestant church. So my dad is Protestant, but my mom, growing up, she grew up in a Christian family, but they were Catholics. Yeah, so my dad was Protestant, my mom was Catholic. So of course they got married, had kids, but for one reason or another, my mom just started slipping away from the Catholic way of doing things, and then she joined my dad into the Protestant church, and then so that's how we grew up. We grew up in a Protestant church. And I used to go to a church. If you live in Langata, you know AIC. So I used to go to AIC. We used to go to AIC Langata, and I loved my church, honestly. Now I don't go to AIC anymore, but we don't. But then I felt like my church was amazing because, I don't know, growing up, having friends in church, having the same friends in school again, and it was amazing because I had so many people of my age in my church, and I just love my church. But my auntie would make us feel like going to that church was, the word is not even bad. She made us feel like going to a Protestant church was awful, like it was shady. Exactly, that was shady. She made us feel like we used to go to a shady church, and she'd tell us things like, oh, mnena kwa church ya Wakamba. Because in my church then, our pastor used to be Kamba. A lot of people in my church used to be Kambas. If you're not Kenyan, Kamba is just, it's an ethnic group. Okay, I'm Luo. My ethnic group is Luo. So we have Luos, we have Kambas, we have Kikuyus, we have whatever. We have so many, around 52 ethnic groups here. So because so many people in my church were Kambas, she'd say that we're going to a Kamba church, and she'd make us feel like going to that church was very shady. Yeah. So I always tried to convince her that my church was awesome, but I don't know, for some reason she'd always put us down. There is no particular day I remember her talking anything good or anything positive about my church. In fact, I remember there's one time I think we were going to church or something, and then she was like, "Oh, but you know, Jesus Christ was Catholic, right? Like Jesus Christ is Catholic. So if I go to a Catholic church and Jesus is Catholic, then for her, she was on the right path. But because us, we're not Catholics, we are not. There's something off. Like you're not in the right path because Jesus was Catholic in her head. If you go to a Protestant church, there's something wrong with you. And at this point, I know someone who's I feel like people who are related to me will feel so bad watching this video because I have some like I have uncles, no, I have cousins. I know that I have cousins who have subscribed to my channel, and they know this particular auntie I'm talking about. They'll feel some type of way about what I'm talking about, but this is my experience, and this is this is what I went through, and I have all the right to talk about it. And so because of all these things that my auntie used to, because of all the things she used to tell us and how she made us feel, this thing used to take a toll on me, to be very honest, and it affected my self-esteem. So I grew up knowing that I wasn't beautiful. There's nothing worthy about me. If I go to the wrong church, if my hair is ugly, if my skin tone is ugly, like, you're ugly. Yeah, so, and I know by now you're wondering, I mean, then what were your parents doing about it? We used to tell our parents about it, but for some reason, they used to, I don't know, especially my dad, he used to find a way of just making things look like, oh, she's your auntie, she can't cause any harm to you guys, so just chill. And now that I look back, I'm just wondering, I mean, why didn't my dad trust us enough to know that what our auntie was doing to us wasn't right? Yeah. And let me tell you guys something. Right now I'm 26, but I have a nephew who's 8 years old, and sometimes I always remember how my auntie used to teach us, and I look at my nephew and I'm just like, I would never want him to go through the same things we went through, because it's wrong. And so every single time I'm probably addressing anything or everything about my nephew, I'm always very cautious, just so that I avoid having him go through what I went through. Yeah, it's not right. And also I feel like parents should trust their kids enough to know that if your child is telling you something about another relative, trust them enough. Like, why would I lie? Yes, this is your sister-in-law or your sister, but what I'm saying is true. Yeah. So if you find that your kid is telling you, I'm not a parent, but one thing I know is if you have your child, and your child keeps on or constantly tells you something about a relative who's living with you, and whatever that relative is doing to your kids is making them feel some type of way, then trust your kids enough and let them know that this relative is not good, enough, or rather it shouldn't be in the same environment as your kids. I hope I'm making sense. Yeah. And then let me tell you also two more things that should make us feel bad about ourselves. From my mom's side, I have so many aunties and uncles. I think I have a total of maybe 12 or 13 uncles and aunties in total. Like, my grandmother has so many kids, so many children, so I have 7 aunties or 8 in total. There are 12, so 12, a combination of brothers and sisters, total are 12 or 13 or something. So excuse me, I have cousins. I have my mom's sister. My mom's the fourth born, so the one who's younger than her has kids, has daughters, has 5 daughters. So I remember when we used to grow up, there used to be this thing called Jumbo Junior. So Jumbo Junior in short is, Jumbo Junior is from Cooperative Bank. So Cooperative Bank just created this thing where you have your kids saving, have a small bank where they are able to save their money in. So you have your kids' bank account saved in Jumbo Junior. I think it's something of that sort, yeah. And my cousins, all my 5 cousins from that one particular auntie had Jumbo Junior. And I used to feel like then when I was young, I used to feel like Jambo Junior was such a cool thing, and I really wanted to be part of the Jambo Junior thing, yeah. And they used to have this thing where they have all those kids who have accounts in the Jambo Junior have something like a fun day. So if you have a Jambo Junior account, your parents just take you to this Jambo Junior fun day, and then you go out, eat amazing, okay, not really amazing, but a lot of snacks, have the bouncing castle, have music and dance to it, and just meet all your friends. And it was a fun thing to be in Jambo Junior. But our parents never, like, we didn't have Jambo Junior in my family. Like, all of us didn't have a Jambo Junior account, but my cousins used to have it. So my aunt used to make us feel bad about not having Jambo Junior, and every time she'd be like, oh, no man at mnaga Jambo Junior account, I can so and so have it, but you guys don't have it. And so every time people used to have Jambo Junior fun day, she'd rub it onto us that we don't have a Jambo Junior account. I don't know why you didn't have it, but also I don't think it was such a big deal now that I look back. But she'd make us feel so bad about not having Jambo Junior, and she'd make us feel like, oh, Akina sons are so cool, they're so much better than us because then they have and us we don't. And of course, if you tell a kid something like that, obviously they'll just feel bad about it. And then also one more thing I also remember, so the church I used to go to then, we used to have like Sunday school trips, or sometimes we'd go to school and then we'd have school trips, and your parents are supposed to pay for your school trips so that you go for it, or the church as well. So when our teachers in Sunday school gave us announcements that we were going to have Sunday school trip, maybe to National Park or go for swimming or something, we'd obviously come and tell our parents that, oh, we are having a Sunday school trip and we want to go for it. And immediately my auntie would hear about it. She'd come and tell us, hey, daddy will not allow you guys need to go. And she'd really hammer that thing into our head that daddy won't allow us to go for the trip. And obviously if you tell a kid something like that, and I don't know how, I feel like somehow she had a way with our parents. And immediately, like every time she'd say we are not going for that trip, imagine we never used to go for those trips. It used to be that awful, like to a point that even if my parents want to go for travel to maybe to Shags or to a country and leave us alone with our auntie, we used to cringe. Like, we used to hate that experience. Even if it was just a weekend, like my parents would go away for a weekend and then we remain with our auntie, that weekend would be awful. Like, I used to dread. Yeah, and now that I look back, I'm just wondering, like, what the heck? Like, what the heck? Or sometimes I also remember there's one time my youngest brother was like, I don't know, maybe 1 month or 2 months or something. And so we had our relatives come over and just, celebrate the fact that we have a new baby at home. And I remember that day, maybe this may sound petty, but now that I look back, maybe it's not that petty. It's a thing, really. So we had relatives come over. My parents bought a lot of food and we were so excited that we have a new baby. And so my mom brought this big bucket of ice cream, like it was so huge. And so our cousins came over, we ate, it was so amazing. And then we had some leftover ice cream. And I remember that day was like on maybe Saturday or Sunday. And then the next day my mom was supposed to go to work. She told her once we've had our lunch, she should give us our ice cream. You guys won't believe what my auntie did. She went and called all her friends from her Catholic church, because she used to attend choir practice in her church. She called all her friends from that choir. She brought them over and then gave the ice cream to her friends. And so you were wondering, mommy said after lunch you should have ice cream. And so I told her, and she was just like, whatever. The ice cream, yeah, so and so, you guys won't have the ice cream. It may sound petty, but with everything that she used to do to us, if I look at that particular situation, I'm just like, she was mistreating us, honestly. Like, that was wrong. And of course we told our mom, but my mom was just like, ni sawa tu, achilia tu, it's okay, don't think so much about it. Yeah, but right now I actually talk to her. We still talk to her, actually. So she lived with us from, I think, 99 to around 2006. No, 2005, when I was in class 6. And then she left us. She went to live with another sister of hers somewhere. I don't know, I can't remember. But she stopped living with us in 2005. So from 1999 to 2005, we went through a lot of hell with her. She doesn't know about it, but imagine we, as siblings, like me and my siblings together, we always talk about that experience once in a while when we remember, and we obviously know that what she used to do to us was wrong. All of us can agree that what she used to do to us was wrong. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like the stuff she used to do to us when we were younger, I would never do that to my nephew. Like never ever, because if I mistreat my nephew, someone will mistreat my kids. That's something for sure. And I feel like right now she's not like that. And I feel like the only reason she's changed is because she has kids now. Her first one is, I think, 8 years old too. And right now she's much better. Maybe it's because she gave birth to kids and I don't know. She changed. But obviously the reason I'm talking about this thing is because it's wrong. And we have to talk about it. Like, someone will feel bad about it, but the truth is, this is my experience and I had the right to talk about it. So if it didn't happen to someone else, don't feel like what I'm talking about is kind of, it's not such a big matter. It's something, and it's something that happens in the society. Yeah, so infinitely blessed. I totally understand where you're coming from, and obviously for me too, one day when I have kids, I would never do that to my kids, or I would never do that to my nephew. Yeah, I've talked for 21 minutes. So I'm just wondering, guys, have you gone through the same thing? Like, have you in one way or another been mistreated by maybe your parents or your relatives? Yeah, ours wasn't physical mistreatment, but ours was more of mental and emotional kind of mistreatment, yeah, which is so wrong, because obviously it affected my self-esteem for so long. Yes, right now I'm not in that kind of space and it will never get into my head, but why would you let a kid go through all that? Yeah, so I would like to know from you guys, have you gone through the same thing that I went through? Can you guys relate to what I'm talking about? Can you relate to my experience? Can you relate to my experience? Can you relate to what Infinitely Blessed is talking about in the comment section? If you do, tell me in the comment section. Tell me what you've gone through. How did you deal with it? Is it still affecting you, or did you get over it? And how did you actually get over it? Yeah, so today I decided to do a chit chat and actually talk to you in real time as opposed to do my makeup, because there are days I hate makeup, and I hate the fact that I have to do my makeup and then after my video I wash my face, and I hate it. So today so tell me in the comment section, like, can you relate to what I'm talking about? Have you guys gone through the same thing? Like, have you been mistreated, maybe physically, emotionally, mentally, by your parents or your relatives or your siblings or whoever? And is it still affecting you right now? And if it's not, you got over it, tell me, or let us know in the comment section how you got over it. And yeah, let us know if you can relate to what Infinitely Blessed is talking about. Yeah, so if you like the video, don't forget to give it a huge thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Comment in the comment section, click the notification bell so that you're always notified every time I post a new video. And yeah, so up until the next video, bye bye.